just because I want to see the questions that are popping up.
Okay.
Okay. Let me just make sure that we are live.
You could use a laptop to do it. That way you can see the questions too.
Yeah. I'm using this program called Be Live, and it's always an issue. I don't know why.
Got it.
Okay. Awesome. We are live. William, how's it going, my man? I appreciate you taking the time today.
Very good. I'm excited about, even though you might be stuck at home, I am working on some new projects related to poker, speaking, gaming. So yeah, I am doing pretty well.
Where are you based out of right now, William?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Love it. Love it. Awesome. So guys, really appreciate it. Okay, we got like 15 people on already. So I'm so excited to have William hung on. You guys might know him from the hit show American Idol. How long ago was that, William, when you first auditioned? How many years ago?
Back in 2004, so about 16 years ago.
That is crazy. And I know you've had a wild journey from, blowing up on TV, getting a record deal, getting a #1 album. I know you were featured on shows like Ellen, Jay Leno, Entertainment Tonight, and all of that. You were even featured with Ricky Martin, right? I know you performed with him at one point.
Yeah. But 2 years ago.
How was that? I'm just curious. I know that was your dream.
It was very surreal, like that he was finally say yes, because there were 4 or 5 times when he wanted to do it, but it didn't happen.
Love it. Yeah. And I know you're doing that. Now you're doing TED Talks. And then I know you were doing a government job. And now I know you recently quit. And now you're doing entrepreneurship full time. You were doing online coaching, speaking events, professional poker. And I want to get to all of that, which I'm really excited about.
Okay.
Everybody here in this group, they're all aspiring entrepreneurs plus current entrepreneurs. And, we're always about, designing the life that was meant for us, expanding our income streams and whatnot. So I'm so excited to share your story. So let's rewind all the way back, William. Like, not even like American Idol. I'm just curious, like, when did you move to the US, and like, how was it growing up around here?
I felt like just a normal guy, nothing special. I got good grades at school. But one thing that stood out was that I remember I got struck by a bully. Like he punched me in the right eye in 7th grade, and that's something I'll never forget.
Wow, that's crazy. And I'm curious, like how was your upbringing? Because one thing, especially I know you come from like a very traditional Asian family. Like, what did your parents want you to do, especially growing up? Because I know you went to UC Berkeley. You were studying like civil engineering there. Is that right?
Yeah, they just want me to be happy. I think that they want me to do something useful for the world, but I don't think I got too much pressure. The reason I chose civil engineering was because I thought I was good at math and science, but it turns out maybe I wasn't as good as I thought.
Okay, love it. And then talk to us about like your journey from Berkeley to actually auditioning for American Idol. Like, how did that even come about?
Well, one day I saw this poster for a school talent show, and I just thought I wanted to try. So I started watching and studying music videos from She Bangs by Ricky Martin. I had no expectations, but somehow I won. I won a DVD player
for the talent show at your school.
Yes, that's what gave me the confidence to audition, and it just happened. Right? It just by coincidence, because the audition they were broadcasting it on the news a few days later. So I was like, okay, great, let's try it, let's see what happens, and then I know the rest. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So they walk us through like how it works, because I'm sure there's a preliminary round where you're in like a very big crowd. Main judges, right? How does that work?
That's true. That's the part also a lot of people don't know, is that you have to stand in line with thousands or tens of thousands of people. But the year I was auditioning was of 3,000 people. I waited a couple hours. I was very fortunate, and then I just tried. I didn't go in there expecting anything, because most people are not going to make it, right? That's just the truth. Yeah. So, okay, it doesn't work. I go back to school, not a big deal. But somehow they let me through. They told me to come back the next day. And then the next day I went to the producers and they let me through again. And that's how I got to Randy, Paula, and Simon.
Oh, that's crazy. So it went from a UC Berkeley talent show to the preliminary rounds, the producer let you through, and then you were in front of the main judges.
Randy, Paula, and Simon. Yeah.
Crazy. So how was that main audition itself? I'm sure everyone here, if you guys didn't know, William Hung was on American Idol. He auditioned, and his it just blew up, right? So talk to us about how that audition was. Like, were you nervous? Like,
Yeah,
you were getting. Like, talk to us about that.
I don't know what it was. I was very nervous. That's why you see me just kind of doing jerky movements, kind of like Zumba exercises. Not my proudest moment, but I walked in there. I didn't expect anything. In a way, what I expected was that Simon was going to be the mean guy. Randy, maybe in the middle, kind of cool guy, and then Paula. She's always a nice lady. So I knew that going in. So once I knew that, I didn't feel so bad when Simon said what he said. You can't sing. You can't dance. What are you gonna say? Yeah, I just held my head. I just kept my head up high. I just said I already gave my best. I have no regrets at all.
I love it, love it. And did you expect the reactions to be the way that the things that they said? Because you said you came in with zero expectations. Like, how did you feel?
No, of course not. No, I just thought the audition didn't work out. I go back to school to be a normal student, and that's it. Who knew that my audition would get like 5 million, over 5 million hits on YouTube?
Yeah. So after the audition, I'm sure there was like this downtime, right, where you didn't expect anything to happen until it actually aired. So talk to us about like that little gap in time. Like,
not much. 4 months, nothing. I mean, I just went back to school. I just pretend nothing happened. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody about it. But then when I saw myself on TV, that's when I realized, maybe something would happen. Yeah. But even then, like most people, just because they show your audition on TV doesn't mean something will happen to you. For the most part, people may laugh for a few minutes, and that's the end of it, right? Nothing else come out of it. But for my case, it was so different. Like there's hundreds of emails, and then some of them came from Alan, and then Ryan's Secret Show. So that really stood out. Entertainment Tonight as well. So those are the first three I did, and then people started like recognizing me. All of a sudden, they want my pictures and autographs. Like, wait a minute, what did I do?
That's crazy. I'm just curious, like, how did your parents feel about all of this? Because the reason why, like, a lot of our audience come from like Asian ethnicities, and typically we hide things from our parents. Like, we want to pursue our passions. And so I'm just curious, like, when all of that blew up, like, what was that like for your family? Like, oh my God, my son's on TV. Like, how was that like for you?
Yeah, my mom was shocked, but she eventually accepted it because she wants to always protect me. She wants to travel everywhere I go, so she became my manager.
Oh, I love that so much. And so, I know at one point, like, you blew up. I know there were like T-shirts and bobbleheads. Like,
that's right.
That's awesome. How about on the flip side, William? And this is like the point that I want to talk about, because I know at one point you received like a lot of negative criticism. There was one guy who did like a very negative piece about you. Like, I'm just curious, like, how did you feel during that whole thing, and how did you overcome all of that?
I only focus on what I can control. I feel that my biggest lifting power comes from my fans. So I feel that it doesn't matter if I have the most talented or not. The whole point is that of entertainment is to bring people happiness, is to bring people smiles. So I feel that I'm on a bigger mission than myself.
I love that. So you basically took something that was super negative, turned it into a positive situation, rather than feeling like people are laughing at you. Like, you want to bring more joy. And I know that's part of your mission nowadays, right? To bring more joy to other people's lives.
Yes.
Love it. And then I know during this time, you also got a record contract, like a record deal. Talk to us about that. Because I know like this whole time you were in school still. So I'm just kind of curious. I'm trying to piece all the things that were happening to your life during this time.
Yeah, I would say that the record contract just came naturally. How do I say it? I don't know, natural is the right word, but it's just like it just happens, right? It's like my audition got like incredible momentum, and then one of my fans created this website called williamhung.net, and that has got over 8 million hits in less than a month. So it somehow broke the internet. That got on the headlines. And then the record company, Koch Records, decided to take a chance on me. They say, you know what, William, do you want a record contract? We're gonna give you $25,000. We want to go for it. You want to do it? So yeah, that's how I got the phone call. And then it took me some time to process that. It's not just about the money. Yeah. I feel that besides the people selling bobblehead dolls and T-shirts, I think the bigger problem was how one guy was decided to say William Hung committed suicide online.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So the time you were blowing up, you got like a lot of these sort of articles like written about
like even though it's not true, even it did bother me. It bothered me so much that I feel like, okay, that's it. I need to take control of my narrative. I'm willing to take the risk because I need to be the author of my own story.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I love that so much. And during this time, I know you were like still in school. So how did that happen? Did you end up graduating, or did you wanted to pursue this full time? Because I know eventually you got a #1 album. So like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I took time off school. I mean, it's fine. I'm okay with that because I know school will always be there for me. But like my friend said, that if I don't take advantage of that once in a lifetime opportunity, it will never come back. So yeah, I don't regret it. I embrace my decision.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good question I have for you is like, what advice would you have for someone who, wants to chase their passions, but, they're either stuck in school or they're just afraid of what like their family might think? Because I know for you broke out of all of that. So what would be your piece of advice for someone who's struggling in that situation now?
It depends on where you're at in your life. If you're in college, I would say that you start as a side hustle. I would say if you have a job, you still start as a side hustle because I think this is a smart way to go. Yeah. Instead of just giving up your primary source of income. Because I'm a realistic person. I love chasing my dreams too. But for me to get to where I am, I did get lucky at the right place at the right time. But I also had to learn how to save and invest in order to get to this point.
Love that so much. Yeah, I'm all about practicality too, because I feel like sometimes people they double down on, they just leave school right away or they quit their job without having like the structure to actually go out and pursue whatever it is for them. And so 100%, like for me, when I first started my entrepreneurship journey, I actually worked my 9 to 5 until I saved up enough to so I could use that to pursue my dreams. So I absolutely love that. How about some advice for those who, are afraid of negative criticism, because I think that's something that you face a lot and, you've done. I have nothing but respect for how you were able to overcome all of that. So what, piece of advice would you have for someone who's afraid of facing that, as they are chasing their dreams?
Unfortunately, it's going to happen. No matter which direction you go, there's going to be people that love you. There's going to be people that hate you. There's going to be people that don't want to care about you anymore. But just do what your heart feels right. I know it sounds cliche, but I would say that when you want something and you decide you want something, it's so powerful. Like when I decided that I'm gonna be a professional poker player, that's so powerful because the how will come to me, right? It's not about reading some books or whatever. Yeah. It's about like, okay, this is what I decide, and if this is what I decide, then I'll do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. I think when your whys and your missions and your values are big enough, like that should be enough fuel to help you overcome all of the negative stuff that just naturally comes with the amount of success that you are trying to achieve, So yeah, 100%. Guys, if you guys have any questions, there's like 30 of you guys on here. If there's any questions, drop below. I'm more than happy to relay that over to William. And so talk to us a little bit after like the whole entertainment career, William, because I know after some time there was like a period where it was like slowing down, and I know you went back to getting a government job. Like, what was your decision to going back to that stable job? Like, what happened with all of that?
I just thought that I couldn't sit around and wait for the gigs to come. I come from a place of being realistic. I make enough money, plenty of money at that point, but I don't want to just sit around and wait for the money to run out. So that's really what it came down to. But I never retired from the entertainment business. That's not how I approach it. It's more like I do it part-time, very, very nice side income. Plus, I have a stable job, and that's why I went for. And then I've been working for the government for about 8 years. I worked for the sheriff's department for 2 years, and then the public health for 6 years, and that's pretty far from the American Idol stage. So I was thinking that well, do I want to keep doing this for the rest of my life? Am I gonna be happy? Yeah, I'm not really. I feel like I don't want to be stuck in a cubicle. Like cubicle life. I would say that there's something bothering me in my mind, and that question is, what is something that only William Hung can do?
I love that. And I'm just curious, like you had this high, you were living the life, you were traveling the world, you were having these gigs, you had enough money saved, like you said, like why not just double down and pursue that? Like what motivated you to actually want to go back to maybe working something that was a little bit more stable?
Because the entertainment business is really not. It's really not stable. There's no magic pill strategy that can allow you to sustain the fame and getting all the high paying gigs for next 10 or 15 years. There's really isn't one. I'm already very fortunate and very grateful that I got more than I expected. With that being said, the other interesting part of it that I don't mention very often is that I didn't choose that path myself in a way. It was beyond my control. I was just this ordinary guy trying out, having fun. But then a couple of years into, I believe, was a revelation. I got more joy and satisfaction winning a $11 PokerStars tournament compared to making 6 figures from entertainment.
I love that so much. And so let's talk about like that little transition, right? Like, what was that light bulb moment for you at that job where you're like, oh my God, like I need to quit. I feel like I was meant for so much more. I have other passions. Because I know you just quit recently, right? Like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I would say I quit as of January 20, so maybe 3 months ago. But yeah, still very recent. Yeah, I would say that I'm willing to take a chance on myself. I'm finally willing to take a chance on myself. I realized that I don't enjoy showing up at work. I feel like I'm dreading every day. And it's not because the work I do is not valuable. It's because the work I'm doing is not something that I get excited about.
Yeah.
I don't get excited about generating reports. I don't get excited about administrative work in general. So yeah, maybe, and if that's how I feel, then maybe it's time to change. There's no perfect time, but but the way I got there was because I put in over 1,500 hours as side hustle the year before that in poker, just to prove that I can make it.
I love that so much. And just really quickly, like any piece of advice for those who, again, like are stuck in their 9-to-5 life and they're trying to like break out and like pursue their passions. Would you say it's a balance between practicality and being logic and, making that a side hustle until that is actually enough to supplement whatever it is that they want to do? Like what would be your approach to that?
It really depends on what that side hustle is. I would say for poker, you need about 800 to 1,000 hours of sample size just to have a good idea that you are a winning player. But if it's something that's like more like coaching business, which is very common now, I would say that it doesn't take that long. If you have a problem that you can solve and people want you to solve it, maybe you only take one big client, 3 clients. It doesn't take that long for you to establish yourself. And here's the secret, okay? The real secret. It's not about having these fancy websites and funnels because those things take a long time. And you could read all the books, you can buy all the courses, but it's all wrong. And the reason it's all wrong is because you don't know who you work with, who you're serving, what problem you're solving until you work with somebody. That's it. There's no ending answer for it.
Oh my God, 100%, William. Because I feel like nowadays when people get into entrepreneurship, they focus on the wrong thing. Like, I need to have the best website in the world. I need to have the best logo in the world. When they didn't even perfect what their offer or what their message is even about. And I feel like so many people, they launch things without solving a pain point, without solving a problem. They just create something and they're like, I think it's gonna sell. Right. And so 100%, guys, like what you guys got to like figure out what your messaging is, what the offer is, and, focus on the thing that's actually generating you money, like doing target market research, getting more clients, getting people to pay you. And then you can start focusing on the other things after, like funnels and making sure that everything fits. 100%, William. I love that you touched on that.
Yeah, and even for me, I still not quite sure who my ideal client is. People keep asking me that, and people that I should have figured it out. No, I haven't figured it out because even though I help people, so I got like 3 or 4 clients I work with, helping them with public speaking, but they all have very different needs, and then now I have a passion for gaming, right? So I want to, maybe the next step is to go into that direction, maybe create a platform where people can feel safe to try out the different life roles, like a role-playing game almost. Different play out different life scenarios without losing their actual way of life.
Oh, I love that so much. I saw you were doing some research on your personal page asking about that. So I was wondering what that was all about. No, that's awesome. Let's talk about like the coaching really quick. Like, how did you even get into the coaching? I know you have a few clients right now, but like, how did that happen? Because I know you had like some mentors, but when did you realize that, what you wanted to do was like actually online coaching?
I'm still not sure. And here's what I mean by that. Okay. So the way I got into coaching was I started with speaking first because I feel like speaking is a way for me to perform on stage. So I started professional speaking about 3 years. I started speaking actually more like 8 years ago in Toastmasters, and then I just thought, it's a fun thing to do. But then I realized maybe I could make a bigger impact. So 3 years ago, I got into professional speaking because one of my friends helped me, motivate me. She got me onto gave me a keynote opportunity, the very first one. Yeah. That's how everything got started. And then a couple of years later, I realized, okay, well, speaking is fun, but it's very, very hard to rely on speaking alone to make a reasonable income. Because even getting I'm just putting out arbitrary numbers out there. Even if you get like 10 gigs a year at $5,000 to $10,000 range, the work it takes to get that gig is very hard. It's harder than most people think. Yeah, you have to pick up a phone call all the time with the associations. There's a lot of work, right? It's not easy. So I would say that just doing that, I don't really enjoy that either. That's the truth. It's a pain in the rear. So that's why. Okay, well, maybe I could do coaching. Because coaching is different. Like coaching, I don't have all those barriers I have to go through. It's just one-on-one with the people that I want to work with.
Oh, I love that so much. No. The reason why I laugh is because right now I'm in the process of getting a TED Talk, and people do not understand the process that it actually takes to actually get a TED Talk.
Yeah, it's very similar. And there's a lot of work behind it.
I thought it was like, oh, let me pay somebody to get on stage. But
no. It doesn't work that way.
It's a long process. It's ridiculous. That's awesome. So it seems like how you portray yourself, the messaging, and what you're doing now, the speaking, like you're miles better than what you were like years ago, right? Like any tips you have for like people who want to get into the speaking and the online coaching space? I know you mentioned you did Toastmasters, but any actual advice for those who are looking to expand to maybe something that you are doing nowadays?
I would say that the biggest thing I teach my clients, and I'm happy to share with your audience, any audience as well. Yeah. It's really not about finding the exact right thing to say. It's just a lot of people are too focused on that. It's about the mindset piece first. It's about for example, the 3 keys that I teach every client is that number 1, you want to avoid comparing yourself with others. That's huge, because if you always compare yourself to Tony Robbins or more people more successful than you never feel happy, and it affects the way that you frame your story. So you could learn all the cool tips and tricks about public speaking, but if you don't come from the right place, in the right mindset, in the right heart, it won't come out right. And so the second thing is to take personal responsibility, because I'm sure you hear many stories where people just complaining about their situation, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost my loved one, I am doing terrible. But that doesn't empower people, because if that's the way your story came out, even though you're not using those words, you're not saying those things, then people would tune you out. It's just like, it's not useful for me, that's not helpful for me. And then number three is to always find the best way to help others. So you notice how I frame my stories, the way I share with your audience. I was very intentional right from the start in and how I share it. How do I add the most value to your audience? So that's the same thing, right? It doesn't matter what you do. It could be gaming, it could be knitting, it could be yachting. It doesn't matter. It's how you frame your story, so that people can still so you're still capturing the emotion of the story, but you're offering something that's helpful for your audience.
Yeah, 100%. So just being very intentional to the person that you are speaking to, the audience that you're speaking to. And the first point you made, like 100%, I think comparison is the key to misery. Like, I feel like so many people, compare themselves to like Tony Robbins and like, oh my God, why am I not as famous? Why am I not as good? And then at the same time, you're really replicating someone else's style, and it's not really your story. It's not really your frameworks. And I really do think that people, especially when they get into the speaking, like they need to find their own style. Like, taking someone else's framework, it's like training wheels, right? It's to get you started, but eventually you need to branch off and make everything your own. So 100%.
Yeah, the most powerful advice or suggestion that your audience can take away for speaking is to develop your own framework. Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said right there. Because it's not about memorizing the exact lines. I mean, yeah, it's helpful to get your opening story down and then in your last closing statement, but that's about it, right? You're not gonna memorize a 1 hour speech. That doesn't work. It doesn't work very well. Even if you would manage to do it, you're still gonna come out like a robot, right? It wouldn't unless you internalize it. And the way you internalize it is by having this framework. Like let's say so I put it out there. My book, Champion by Choice, has a clear framework. It has 3 C's. It has connection, communication, and context. So that's your own framework. You could develop something like that for whatever that you're speaking about. And that way, you could just choose the right examples to fit into the situation.
I love that so much. Can you repeat the 3 C's again?
So my framework I'm giving a concrete example from my book, Champion by Choice. And then it has 3 C's. The first one is communication, the second one is context, and the third one is connection.
Love that. Awesome. Yeah. So that book is out, and then I know. Let's talk about one more thing, because I know this has been like on the top of my mind. Your professional poker playing.
Yes. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Like, how did that even happen? When did you realize like this is something that I wanted to do, especially professionally? And I want to talk about like, how that helps you entrepreneurially. Because I know you mentioned how poker helps you with like calculated risk and whatnot. But before we get to that, let's talk about like, how did you even get into like the professional poker playing, and how is that going nowadays?
Sure. So I started playing poker for fun about 15 years ago. I just felt like at the time, I'm not sure how many are familiar with this story, but there's a gentleman, his name was Chris Moneymaker. So he won the World Series of Poker main event as a 40-year-old, accountant from Tennessee. So it's like an average Joe, your average Joe, right? And he took it, so it's like the David versus Goliath kind of story, So that was very inspiring to me. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. And then I was doing really well. I won like 5 figures. I didn't play it even big. Like I told you, like $11 Poker Stars tournament, right? I would and I like have a $5,000 payday. It's like, wow, that's insane. That gave me some hope, inspiration. But really, what it came down to, I believe that I want to excel in my own creative way. That's been my life. Like because poker back then, there's a few books you can read here and there, but there really isn't that much telling you what to do. It's not like right now. Right now you can look online and look for GTO strategies, okay, game theory optimal. But back then there wasn't. So it's more like, okay, well, I need to figure out how to do this myself in my own way. And I like that. I like that kind of ownership. Yeah, there's luck involved, but I like the level of control I have.
Yeah. Did you have a specific goal with poker, like a revenue goal, where you to prove to myself that I'm actually good at this and that I can do it? Like, I need to be making this much by this time. Like, did you have a specific goal?
Okay, so back then I didn't, because I was just playing for fun. And then I would say the last year and a half, yes, I did. I would because I was tracking my hours. I was just looking to see where I'm at by the end of, let's say, 1,000 hours or so. And I was very happy with what I was earning. So so that's why I'm comfortable taking that leap. But and then now, now that I have that little bit of cushion, I can explore more about the impact that I want to make. Because it's, as much as I love poker, I don't think poker is going to be my bread and butter for the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. That's not where I want to go. There's people that's doing it, have done it, right? It's not like, so it's not impossible. That's not the point. But the point is that by taking this first major step, I feel that I have more freedom and flexibility to explore other platforms, to explore other possibilities in my life.
I love that so much. And again, you mentioned how poker has helped you a lot with entrepreneurship, right? Like, especially with helping with mental performance, I'm sure. Calculator risk. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, that's by far one of the biggest barriers, because I always knew that I had the skill and the talent, but one of the hardest things to focus on to improve on was my mental game. Like in poker, it's so, and just like entrepreneur in poker, it's so hard, right? You could make all the right decisions for the day, and you still could end up losing multiple buy-ins, thousands of dollars. That never feels good. It doesn't matter how long we've been playing. It doesn't feel good, because as human beings, we love winning.
Oh, I love that so much. And I think another lesson too is that, regardless of the hands that you're dealt with, there's always a way to win. So let's say you are born with unfortunate situations or something happened in your life. Doesn't matter how bad your hand is, if you play it right, you can still win at the very end. And so I think that's a really good lesson with entrepreneurship too.
Yeah, I would say that it's about making the most out of the hand, each hand that you dealt with in life. I think that's the better way to put it. And then the other interesting thing that's in terms of analogies that will help your audience. If you don't like the hand you dealt with right now, you don't have to play it. You can fold and move on to the next hand.
Yeah, because you get a new one, right? You build a new one next round.
Right.
Awesome. So it's been a crazy journey, Will. Again, American Idol, your speaking, your entertainment, your album, your coaching, your books, your poker. What would you say your biggest lesson that you've learned along this journey? Because it seems like you've done so much, and I think what you can provide in value to the audience would be great. What was the biggest lesson you've learned along this whole journey?
The biggest lesson I learned is to do something that gives you joy and purpose every day. That gives you what gets you excited. If money and resource is not an issue, what would you do? What would you see yourself doing? I know that we live in a real world. We have to keep our lights on and put food on the table. But I feel that it's important not to start from that place, because if you're being honest with yourself about what you truly enjoy, what you're truly passionate about, what do you see yourself doing, right? Recently, I just last week or so, I played this new game called Legends of Runeterra. It's a card game. It's a spin-off card game from the League of Legends, and I'm already doing really well. I'm not making money yet, but I'm already doing really well. Really fast start, climbing up the ladder ranks to getting to masters very soon. So yeah, you know, sometimes if there's something and I enjoy it, I could see myself playing day in, day out, no problem. So, you know, so if that's what you choose, if that's what I enjoy, and I'm not saying this is what I want to go with, but you know, I need to, and that's why you give yourself time to try these different things. But once you find out that thing that you really enjoy, love it day in and day out, find a way to monetize that. Find a way to be an expert in that.
100%. And listening to your entire story today, William, I think another lesson that the audience can get is that, you know, success for you wasn't from one specific event, right? It's not like a linear line. It was like this roller coaster. You had to try all of these things, and you know, just overcoming rejection, negative criticism, like that's all part of the entrepreneurship game. And you have had to have overcome all of those things in your life to be where you're at now. And I think that's like another thing that I've noticed for sure with you.
Thank you.
Love it. So what's next for you? Like, as in, like, you said you're trying to create this game now, but like, you know, what does like the next 3 to 5 years look for you? Or are you still trying to figure it out right now?
3 to 5 years is definitely too long because as your audience might know, the whole coronavirus pandemic is changing the world in a way that never happens before in our lifetime. Yeah. So right now I'm only looking at 3 months. Okay, so the next 3 months. So no, I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next 3 months, I would say that I continue to explore how I can make the impact. I think that's the biggest thing we can learn. Because and that's what really defines us. The first one is, and I learned this from my mentor, one of my mentors. Her name is Jacqueline. She's wonderful. She's amazing, and she taught me 2 things, right? So far that I learned. One is to figure out why you're waking up each day, and my why is that I believe everyone has a right to try something new without being judged or ridiculed.
I love that so much. Yeah, I think the past couple of months, especially in quarantine, I've had time to do a lot of self-reflection, and I think just a lot of my whys, my purpose, my passion a little bit more. Like, as like cliche as it sounds, I think like if that reason is big enough, like it's going to help you overcome all of like the negative stuff that comes throughout this journey. So awesome. Yeah, well, I really appreciate the time today. Like, if people want to find out more about like what you do or like follow you, like what's the best way to do that? Like, do you have like a website with like a newsletter, social media? Like, like give us like your pitch. Like, how do people learn about you and just follow your entire journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that my website is willhung.com, WILLHUNG.com. You can also find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. I would say that if you know someone that's in the gaming industry that wants to create a platform that I talked about, let me know. You know, let me know how I can contribute to it. You know, I could be just me pitching ideas. It could be me, you know, like giving storytelling ideas, whatever. Like I said, the impact is what I focus on. It doesn't matter if I end up doing poker or I did playing another card game, or I doing speaking or doing coaching, whatever, right? I'm focusing on the impact. The impact that I want to make, again, is to develop this platform for people to try out the different life scenarios and without losing in the real life.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, guys. So follow William on social media, his website. He's a great guy to be following. I'm not sure if you see the comments, William. We actually have a request in the audience. Can I sing the She Bang chorus together?
Okay, sure.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
She bangs, oh baby, cause she moves. I go crazy cause she loves like it flows, but she thinks like it be. Every girl in me. All right.
Thank you so much, William. It's been a pleasure, and you know, best of luck with your entire journey with everything. You know, I'll stay connected with you. And again, guys, for everybody who is more interested in learning about what William does, follow him on his social media and his website. So, William, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy, so thank you so much for taking the time. And you know, stay safe out there. If there's anything, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help out wherever I can.
Thank you so much. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, William.
Bye.